Okay. Wait. Okay, all right. At this time, I'd like to call to order the Franklin County Board of Commissioners General Session. Today is May 14th, 2024. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Crawley.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As a reminder, this is a public meeting and is being recorded. For those of you who are calling in, please ensure that you have muted your line. Thank you so much for your cooperation. Today, first of all, welcome everyone to General Session. We've got a packed house today. That's always exciting. But before we get into our regular agenda, we have several very special guests with us. As many of you may know, this is Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, which is an annual opportunity to reflect on and celebrate the important role of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, Pacific Islanders have played in our shared history. Here to help us recognize the occasion is our very, very good friend, Dr. Young Chin Liu, founder of the Columbus Asian Festival, which will be celebrated later this month on May 25th and 26th. Dr. Liu, I want to welcome you to the podium. Good friend, he was talking to him earlier, and he said it's been 30 years since the festival, and it's just been an incredible experience. I'm not sure I've been every year for the last 30 years, but I've been in politics about that time, about that range. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure I've made just about every one. And it's just always a splendid celebration of the representation in our community of everyone. And that's always a beautiful thing. So Dr. Liu, welcome to Franklin County Board of Commissioners.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me to share some thought with you. In fact, I'm the one founded the Asian Festival on July 25th of 1994. So it's our 30th anniversary. We are really trying to put Franklin County, the city, on the map. In fact, with 30 years hard work, I think we accomplished that. And therefore, I'm really proud to share with you, how did I start? In fact, when I found the Asian Festival on July 25th, 1994, my idea was trying to get all the Asian ethnic groups together to do something together. And eventually, we accomplished that, and we act together as a family. So we are calling us Asian Festival Family in Central Ohio. And that is the beginning. And I have two visions. Number one, showcase the Asian culture and the heritage to the general public. Therefore, we are not charging anyone a penny. Secondly, we want to pay back to the community, to the society, by providing free health screenings. And in fact, anything you can think of, we do the screening during the 2 days of the festival every year. Every year, we screen 550 people to show that they are normal. But whenever they are not abnormal, I do have an Asian free clinic for them to go to. So this is the beginning of my community service. Really started February 5th of 1994 with the support from the Life Care Alliance, and we started the Asian Meal Program. And because of the success of the meal program, that's why I dare to propose the Asian Festival. Now, make the story short, because I know my time is limited. In fact, not only I start the meal program, the Asian Festival, then on June 2nd of 1997, I started the Asian Free Clinic. And then after that, I proposed to the leaders, Asian leaders in Ohio, to establish Ohio Asian American Health Coalition. And finally, 2010, and established an organization, Ohio Asian American Pacific Islander Advisory Council, to the governor. Unfortunately, that one is expanded, and as of now, and my dream really is hoping to get a Asian commission, because we have all kinds of commissions, but we do not have the Asian commission. Of course, our population is small. However, we are really trying very hard to do everything we can, not only to serve for the Asian community, but also to the community at large. And like pandemic, we are really doing a lot of things to help people in general. So with that said, I'm going to share with you this weekend is our Dragon Boat race. And it's a really very, very exciting event. And if you have time, please, by all means, to come in at the Bicentennial Park to see the race from 9 to 4:30 this coming Sunday. And furthermore, our festival, May 25th, 26th, in Franklin Park, and that we have the free event for you, all kinds of food and performances. We have 2 groups from China flying directly to Columbus to share their talent to the general public. And you will be really thrilled to learn what we can do. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your invitation.
I'll put up to my colleagues. Yeah, absolutely. Any comments?
Oh, thank you, Dr. Liu. Appreciate you being here again. This is a wonderful annual event that you put together, and we appreciate all you do on behalf of Franklin County and to highlight the Asian community and the work that you guys are doing in Central Ohio. So thank you. And we hope to be there. So thanks.
Thank you. Commissioner Crowley?
Yeah, so thank you, Dr. Liu, for establishing this festival. Thank you for all that you continue to do and contribute to this community. For all of those that have an that are Asian descent or Pacific Islander, we talk about Franklin County being an inclusive county and a welcoming county, but I think when you go to the festival, if you've never been, please go. It is fun, it's exciting, and I mean, really get to see a lot of different things being showcased from your community, different heritage, and it's just an exciting time. And so I won't be able to make it this time because I will be out of town, but maybe on Sunday I'll be able to see the boat race. So thank you.
Yeah, please come on back.
Thank you so much, Erica. This is a great question. In fact, that not only the food, you're going to enjoy food tremendously, performance. And we have children's tent. For children, normally, whenever they get into the tent, they never want to get out. We have so many good games for them. And health screenings, of course. We have Asian games and also career fair. And so we have a lot of things. To answer your question, I have one word: educational. And if you can come in to spend some time, you're going to learn a lot of things. I think that is really the purpose when I start, because I'm a professor emeritus in mathematics at Ohio State. And because of that, education is always in my mind, and we wanted to do that to make people to learn something when they coming to the festival. So this is really the purpose of us, and we, as I said, formed the Asian Festival family, and we, 16 ethnic groups, talk about DEI. And really, I really appreciate that this year, because our 30th anniversary, we kind of spent too much money, and therefore this might be the first year get into the red ink. However, Franklin County DEI came in to save us and to give us a major sponsor, made us to be in the black. Thank you so much, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Now, Dr. Liu, now I got a problem with what you just said now, because now we're going to have all the other festivals calling and saying the same thing. And, I don't know what's going on with my mic. Turn that down, please. But I will say, I do want to just point out a couple of things. One, for the Asian Festival is a opportunity for everyone to come and celebrate the diversity and heritage and culture and history of not just Central Ohio, but America. And I want to emphasize that. The second thing I want to emphasize is the health screenings. Early detection of diseases like hypertension, diabetes, and other chronic diseases can save lives. And so those free screenings are important. And again, everyone can come and get a free screening, and I would encourage you to do that. And then finally, America is mostly, most of us, not everybody, but most of us are from somewhere else. You know, most of us have a heritage that started in another part of the world. And so celebrating and honoring heritages and learning about them is a great experience. When I was growing up in Central Ohio, there wasn't a lot of festivals. And to see how that has evolved in Central Ohio is a really beautiful thing. It is more than a small gesture of our investment in each other. And so, Dr. Liu, thank you so much for what you represent. Thank you for bringing us the festival. Please, absolutely.
I'm really proud to share with you the Asian Festival here in Central Ohio is the largest Asian festival in the whole country.
Oh, I believe that.
We're
Sure.
very, very proud of that. Michael Coleman did the research, and he made the announcement. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, who is Michael No, I'm just kidding.
How soon we forget.
Right. Okay, thank you, Dr. Liu, and thank you for your service. All right, I'm going to keep the schedule moving here. I am pleased to recognize that this is Armed Forces Week and that Saturday is Armed Forces Day, which is a yearly celebration of more than 1.3 million U.S. service members serving across America at more than 800 bases around the globe. To help us mark the occasion, we've invited some of our many employees who are veterans to join us today, and I'd like to ask them all to stand at this time and be recognized. Our veterans. I'm certain that my colleagues have some comments to add, but I will just say, reading this script here, that thank you all for your service and for continuing your service to the public by working with us here in Franklin County. Also, with us today to talk a bit more about Armed Forces Day, Operation Greenlight, and the resources that are available in Franklin County to our veterans are Joshua Bellamy and Director Buck Bramlish of the Franklin County Veterans Service Commission. You want to come forward?
Alrighty. Good morning, commissioners. Good morning, county administration, and all the veterans here. So I'm Joshua Bellamy from the Family Stabilization Unit, along with the Men's Unit under Strategic Initiatives. So just thank you again for just bringing to light of Operation Greenlight along with Armed Forces Day, which is on May 18th, this upcoming Saturday. So I'm currently in my second year in the United States Air Force Reserve. A staff sergeant, so I just kind of got out of the low ranks. So I feel like I'm somebody now. But and I also have the executive director of the Franklin County Veterans Commission. Mr. Doug Bramlage here with me. So Operation Greenlight is a NACO initiative that started in November of 2023. It's to show support for our service members, all of our service members. So whether if you are National Guard, whether if you're a reservist, whether if you went active duty and you actually deployed or you haven't deployed, it's bringing to light about all of those who are served and raise their right hand and say, "So help me God," to defend our United States. So overall, it's from November 4th to November 11th. From the first week of going into Veterans Day, and then going into the end of that. So by shining that green light, we show that we appreciate, we support, and bring just overall just awareness to those who have served. Along with that, it's to show. It's like throwing a flare. It's like throwing the green smoke. While you're out there on the battlefield, letting those that there's services, there's things here for you here in Franklin County, here in other counties. As I said, it's a NACO initiative. So just overall, just letting our troops know, letting our service members know that help is right here, right? When you're out there in the battlefield, and there's someone left behind, you can't leave them behind. So the green light is to show that services are here in Franklin County. Whether if you went home, whether you went to Qatar, if you fought in Afghan, or if you went to Vietnam, no matter how old you are, no matter how you served, there's services here in Franklin County. Studies show that 17% of our veterans live in poverty when they come home, right? How they get left behind? How they get left in the barracks, right? Why are they there? 60,000 plus of those veterans are here in Franklin County, right? But only 3,200 of them are on Franklin County benefits. So how are they falling through the cracks, right? How are we leaving our troops behind? But of course, lovely to know that we have the Franklin County Veterans Commission, who has a plethora of services. So I'm happy to invite Mr. Bramlage up to speak about the Franklin County Veterans Commission.
Congratulations, Staff Sergeant. Hey, thank you very much for inviting me back again to talk a little bit about our veterans holidays and what we do. As was discussed, Armed Forces as one of the 3 veteran holidays is really about all those that are currently serving, National Guard, Reserve, and active duty. When you add all those together, it's over 2 million military personnel when you add the National Guard and the Reserves in there. There's about 170,000 service members that are stationed overseas currently. And according to a 2019 Pew Research, almost half of the post 9/11 combat veterans stated that their mental health has been and continues to be impacted by their deployments. So as we celebrate and we understand the contributions that our veterans make, we want to talk about some of the programs that we offer here. We at the Franklin County Veterans Service Commission provide emergency financial assistance and a pathway to veterans benefits, most often through the VA. For veterans in Franklin County and other counties that come to us for support with their VA claims. Whether you're struggling in a poverty cycle or you've just hit a tough time in life, our agency is prepared to support and help. The kinds of things we do in our 2 core competencies, emergency financial assistance and providing a pathway to VA benefits, we provide rent deposit, mortgage, utilities, even car repair. Over 4,000 veterans we supported with food insecurity to the tune of about $1.5 million last year. We provided over 6,000 round trips to medical appointments for the veteran's spouse, and or the veteran's widow. A lot of times we try to keep the lights on, we try to keep a roof over the head, we try to keep food on the table so that our great partners, and some of you are in here today, with social workers, mental health professionals, they're the ones that come in and they really solve problems. But you can't solve a problem if someone doesn't have a roof above their head or if they're not eating. So we really work hard to provide those services. Last year, we received over 6,500 requests for financial assistance, and we satisfied 99% of those requests with all they requested or at least part of what they requested, 99%. We did an additional over 1,300 VA action claims. Those are claims for disability, pension, those kinds of things. I've got about 16 veterans or family members of veterans that actually work face-to-face direct services with our veterans that are providing all those services. 2023 was the biggest year in our history. We serve more veterans, spent more money, and I need to say to the county, when we have a need, you've always come through. This county is very, very veteran-friendly. We outpaced ourselves last year in our budget, and the county helped us significantly as we continue to help veterans. You know, we have a dental program, again, for the veteran, the veteran, the spouse, or the widow. If you're at 250% or less of the poverty cycle, we'll provide dental anywhere from a preliminary checkup all the way through dentures, uppers and lowers at no cost, working through our program. So we are trying to hit the mark where our veterans are struggling. The best way to get a hold of us these days is go to our website, vets.franklincountyohio.gov, and we have an online portal that allows you to sign up or request an appointment online. We call them the blinky lights. It's hard to keep up with those blinky lights these days. There's just so much need out there and so many calls. So this is what your veterans in Franklin County and your Veteran Service Commission is trying to do. We are so thankful for all the veterans that come to work with us and come to serve us. I want to mention, two final things. First, obviously, this is the first of our three holidays. Soon we're going to recognize Memorial Day, and a special day for all those service members that lost their life in service of their country. And then, of course, at the end of the year, we'll recognize all veterans, whether they deployed or served during peacetime. They all took that oath to protect and serve, that oath to protect the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And there's not a lot of jobs these days where you take an oath. And I think that's one of the things that makes our veteran community special. The last thing I just want to remind us is that number 988. So we still have statistics that say 18 to 20 veterans are taking their life every day. 988 is for anybody. Anybody can dial 988 and get help from some kind of crisis service person. But if you're a veteran and you dial 988 and press 1, you're gonna get connected with some kind of counselor that also has training in understanding what service members are going through from their service. So thank you for having me up, giving me a few minutes. Thank you for all you do, and please share the word that we are trying to assist our veterans in Franklin County.
Thank you, and I'll defer to our resident veteran, Commissioner Crawley, who served in the Navy.
The mighty Navy. Thank you, President Boyce. Thank you, Director, and thank you for raising awareness for Operation Greenlight. It is a tragedy when we talk about our veterans who are homeless, who are on government assistance, who are struggling with mental health and don't have the care that they need. There should be no veteran or no one who put on the uniform who struggles. But the fact remains that they do, as you gave us those statistics. So we still have work to do. When I think about how this is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I appreciate you saying 988. We also have Credible Minds, and if somebody can give me the website, I think it's, or you could Google Credible Minds at Franklin County. It is a resource that's open for everyone. So you can take an assessment and get access to mental health resources. It is very confidential. None of your information is shared. But if you do not want to go to the VA, which I understand, a lot of people know where the VA hospital is and do not go. I understand how that can be challenging for some. There are other resources that you can be connected with. So please do not hesitate to reach out, to go on the Credible Minds platform and get connected to all kinds of resources. I was with, 2 weeks ago, Rear Admiral Hines, who came over with COSI. She is a Black woman, the fourth Black woman to serve as Rear Admiral, the only one currently serving. And I was just in awe, Navy. She's an IT, information systems technician. That's what I was when I served on active duty. And we were talking about the problems that we still face with service members being enlisted and then transitioning to civilian life and not really having access to help with resume writing, how to convert their military service and what they did in the military to civilian work, and how that can translate a little differently but still be applicable to the job sector that they want to go into. There's also programming where a service member, as they're getting ready to transition, 6 months before they transition, they can do an internship or work with a company that will help facilitate their transition, and not just do a TAP program. Everybody knows when you get out, you do TAP, which is like a week or two. This is beyond that, to really be a warm handoff for our service members as they are coming into civilian life. And I think that is so important. And we should, I'll be working with the Vets Memorial and some of the board members who are in C-suite levels with major companies to really help facilitate that. That is a program that doesn't get a lot of traction. A lot of people don't know about it, but would really, really help our service members to not be unemployed, to not contribute to their mental health when they come out and they can't get a job and they have to provide for themselves and their families, and then they just go into a spiral. So happy to talk to you as well, Director, about that as we're working with some of our businesses and helping our service members transition. But this is Armed Services Week. I thank everyone for their service, even if you did not serve in the greatest Navy in the land. And I'm saying that as someone who is a daughter of someone who served in the Army, sister of someone who served in the Army as well. But, I thank you for your service anyways.
Commissioner O'Grady?
I'm sorry, Administrator Wilson.
Oh, Commissioner Wilson.
I
President
do have a comment.
Kenneth Wilson, County Administrator, President Boyce, Commissioner O'Grady, Commissioner Crawley. Those comments were timely related to the county's investment in Credible Minds, which is a community resource, and is based around the theme, it's okay not to be okay, because as we know, there are so many stigmas attached to behavioral health. There's cultural stigmas where people feel like, particularly males, African-American males like myself, think that there's some flaw in you if you need to talk to anybody about anything, and dealing with and handling emotions. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so Commissioner Crawley, your comments were timely, as well as a county as we elevate mental health awareness. This board has been a leader in this area in making investments and bringing awareness. And this website is Franklin County, Ohio.crediblemine.com.
Thank you.
And they did Google it, they could find it as well. Thank you.
Commissioner Boyce, if
Commissioner
you
O'Grady,
don't mind.
please.
So a few things, and I'll try to be brief. So I appreciate you, Director Bramlage, indicating that this board and that Franklin County is very friendly and treats veterans well. But one thing I'd like to recognize is you and your administration. You guys have done a phenomenal job. From a historical perspective, for those of us that have been around a while, and I'll acknowledge our county administrator, Ken Wilson. When I say that, we've not always had fantastic leadership at Veterans Service Commission like we do now. And so you are to be recognized for that. The work that you and your administration do at the Veterans Service Commission needs to be commended for the work that you guys do, because we've had struggles over the years, and it's been a while. You've done a great job. It's easy to be so supportive of the veterans when we have great leadership at the Veterans Service Commission like we do now. So thank you for that. It's great to have a colleague on the board who's a leader like Commissioner Crowley in the veteran space. I grew up, as I believe Commissioner Boyce did as well, at a time of peace, and so. I grew up in an era when, we didn't, guys like me, we didn't have to, men and women like me didn't have to join the services because we grew up in peacetime. My family did though. And so I had, a father that was a Vietnam War veteran, member of the Army, my brothers, uncles, my father-in-law served in the Air Force, and so I had an occasion a few years back on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners pre-COVID back in 2019 to travel to the Army-Navy game in Philadelphia on behalf of Franklin County, an economic development trip, and was there proudly rooting for the Army, on behalf of my family. And so I just have to say here today publicly, go Army.
Right.
Just to get that one in
You
for.
had to. I know,
you
I know. It's okay.
But, we all have, we all have family and friends, even if we didn't serve personally, we all have family and friends and members amongst our family and friends that are amongst those 1.3 or 2 million, as you guys have pointed out, that are close to us and that we remember on days like this and at times like this, and thank and want to hold up and thank them all for their service and thank all of you for your service to our country. And so it's easy for us as a board to be able to work with you and your folks at Veteran Service Commission to do the work on behalf of the veterans that we have, whether it's providing the benefits that we need to provide or the mental health services that we need to provide, because the things and the services that they provide for us are it's just a great service to the country, and it's a great service to this community. So thank you for everything that you and your folks do.
And there's not much to add to what my colleagues have so eloquently said. What I will say, though, is that, Commissioner Grady brought up that we grew up in essentially the 70s and 80s and whatnot. For Commissioner Grady, he grew up in the 60s. But the 70s and 80s.
Just because I can remember the 60s doesn't mean I grew up in the 60s.
Yeah, I'm teasing. But you bring up an interesting point, and that's that even though we grew up in peace times, the effect on families and the effect on communities after such a horrendous experience can be generational. And while most of my family served in the Marines in Vietnam, my dad did 2 tours in Vietnam, and my dad's deceased now. But what I remember, and he died when I was young, 7. But what I remember for sure about him was the mental state of his experience in Vietnam as a Marine, and I'll never forget it. There are many things that I don't remember about him that I do. And I remember he talked about it a lot. He had nightmares a lot. And that kind of experience leaves a lasting impression not only on the child, but the family and the community. And I also remember, Commissioner Grady, you talk about the peacetime, there were a lot of effects from the men and women who came back from Vietnam. And that lasted throughout my childhood, the 70s and 80s. I mean, there were elements of that time frame that existed, and I believe it shaped those decades. I believe, a lot of the 70s and 80s are shaped by the experience of Vietnam and the men and women who came from serving. And all of the other wars are in the same category, and so I just want to say one more thing about the families in the community that, we're, in many ways, that's one of the great things about the great American spirit is that we have traditionally banded together as a nation to support one another, not always in the most succinct and perfect way. We know that. But ultimately, because we as America, we don't always get it right, but we work towards getting it right. And that's why we have Veterans Week, that's why we have Veterans Day, that's why we have Memorial Day, is because we know as a country, embedded in our DNA, is that we want to be a better nation. And we want to improve on our mistakes, our missteps, and perhaps even our horrendous history that is embedded in all of those things. And so to the families, to the community that's been affected by a war or people who've served, we're all in this together. While we honor and uplift those who have served, I would add that we honor and uplift the families that were alongside of those who served. And so thank you so much for your service. And to my colleague, you want to add something too?
Can I?
Yeah, absolutely, please.
Based off of what you said, and I really appreciate you talking about your father and how it impacts families. When we think about those who take their lives, death by suicide, a lot of times, especially if they've been in war, is because they have survivor's guilt. And so I just want to call a thing a thing. Like, my father served in Vietnam as well. My brother served in Desert Storm and Afghanistan. I enlisted right after USS Cole was bombed. I served during 9/11. And I know for my family, one of the things that has kept them up at night is, like, that should have been me, or why was I scared? And that never goes away. And it's hard for some veterans or some service members who ended up getting out or was injured and dealing with survivor's guilt, feeling like nobody else really understands what I'm dealing with. And so they won't go to the VA, they won't reach out to a therapist, because it's like, only people who can understand what I'm dealing with is people who were there with me. And so thank you for lifting that up. And it impacts the family. It impacts the family tremendously. But that's why we have Mental Health Awareness Month. That's why we should always embrace the family, because they're at the effect of whatever the service member witnessed while they were away. And even if they weren't on the battlefield, if they were dealing with message traffic like I was, you see things that come through that, and you read things that impact you as well. And so thank you for highlighting that, and thank you to the families.
Thank you so much.
Forever thankful to work and represent this county. Thank you.
Okay, and I think if the veterans that are in the room don't mind, we'd like to do a photo. If you all would maybe come up here and stand in front of a dais here, we'll take some photos for the record and honor you in that way.
My dad would be 104 this year. Really? Yeah. World War II was a long time ago, dude.
That's a good man.
He was a, did you see Masters of the Air? He was one of the guys that repaired the bombers when they came back.
We all try to get in the back. You don't get to get in the back.
Buck, where you going?
Isn't there some kind of protocol?
Why don't you be in the middle?
Not very often anyone says ever in the middle.
Thanks so much for your service.
All right, so we're going to keep it moving. Our first order of business with the clerk of courts.
Resolution 393-24, resolution authorizing an amendment to an agreement with Mapsys, Inc. to provide application support services for the Franklin County Clerk of Courts and Probate Court in the amount of $500,000.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Adam Lukaup, Director of Technology, CIO, on behalf of Clerk of Courts Mary Ellen O'Shaughnessy. This resolution authorizes a contract amendment with Mapsys Incorporated for additional services related to the loss of 2 COBOL programmers from the Franklin County Data Center last year. This amendment allows for evening support for our nightly batch jobs and additional support related to the Franklin County Justice System, FCJS. This was approved by the Data Board early in May, and the amended contract is $500,000 for 1 year. Pending any questions, I recommend approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for approval, resolution 393-24.
Second.
Moved and second in voting, Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution 393-24 has been adopted. Resolution 394-24, resolution authorizing an agreement with Sunflower Lab for services to upgrade the auto title mobile application for the Franklin County Clerk of Courts in the amount of $17,000.
Our office relies on the auto title mobile application in serving the public. Residents are able to schedule appointments, receive directions to our auto title locations, find information on auto titling, and have the ability to look up their own auto title. The Franklin County Data Center is no longer able to support the application, and the technology that the application is built on is no longer supported as of May 1st, 2024. The scope of work within this agreement will enable the vendor to upgrade the technology while retaining all the functionality, and internal staff will be able to maintain the application thereafter. This contract is a fixed-rate contract not to exceed $17,000, and Sunflower Lab is a local vendor based in Hilliard. Pending any questions, I recommend approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for approval of Resolution 394-24.
Second.
Moved and seconded in voting. Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Resolution 394-24 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Commissioner Boyce, if
Yeah, please,
if I
Commissioner
might, you know, we should have done this earlier, I guess, but I completely forgot about it. Today is Administrator Wilson's birthday.
I was gonna do it at the end, man.
Oh, sorry. Well, these
Yeah.
people will all be, most of them will all be gone by the end.
Oh,
So happy birthday to to Administrator Wilson.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Happy
Thank you.
birthday.
Speech. Anything to say? Anything to part of wisdom on all these folks of all the, because you're 64?
Moving in that, blessed to be moving in that direction. I'm embracing my continual maturity, and are grateful for the opportunity to serve the residents of this county. And I feel like there could be no better place for me to be on my birthday today, but in general session, doing the work of the people, every resident, every day. That's what I'm dedicated to. And I feel like that is my mission for a continued period of time as I advance toward the age of 60 and senior options. That's why I'm a big supporter of senior options out there for my office on aging staff, because I'm only footsteps away from there, but I'm blessed. Hopefully I look good for my age, President Boyce.
No comment, no comment. Well, happy birthday, well deserved. You work hard, and the residents of Central Ohio are grateful and lucky to have you.
You do.
Happy
Look good for
birthday.
your age, since you wouldn't say it.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
Well, keep it moving. Next is domestic relations, Court.
Resolution 395-24, resolution authorizing a contract with Capital University Law School in the amount of $48,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Julie Troth, Director of Programs and Services. This resolution is requesting a contract approval with Capital University Law School in the amount of $48,000 to provide continuing training with our community volunteers for the Restorative Justice Circles. The Restorative Justice Circles are a community-based diversion program designed to provide an alternative response from the juvenile justice system for misdemeanor offenders. The program adheres to the restorative justice theory, which is based on the premise of accountability to the victim and the community. Restorative Justice Circles bring the juvenile offender, his or her parent, the victim, and members of the community together to repair harm and to restore the victim and community. In 2023, 47 youth were referred to this program. Pending any questions, the court requests the approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for approval of Resolution 395-24.
Second.
Moved and seconded in voting. Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Resolution 395-24 has been adopted.
Thank you. Drainage engineering.
Resolution 396-24, resolution adopting the Franklin County Drainage Engineers Annual Review of the Capital Improvement Program for Drainage Systems.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brad Foster, Franklin County Engineer. And with me today, I'd like to introduce Kevin Nanano. Kevin is a junior at Dublin-Kaufman High School and is interested in civil engineering. He will be completing the job shadowing program with me today, and this is part of our morning program. At this time, I would like Kevin to read the first resolution for the drainage engineer.
All right. The first resolution is a drainage engineer's resolution and seeks to adopt the 2024 Franklin County Drainage Engineers Office 10-year capital improvement program for drainage systems. The drainage engineer has evaluated the drainage systems, and this resolution's update our 10-year program based on the urgent need and necessity for projects. Pending any questions, I would ask for your approval.
Yes, Kevin, we have several questions for you. You thought you were just reading this. He actually put you out, he put you in front of the bus, is what he, no. I'm teasing, I'm teasing.
I was gonna say, well, what's the program? What's in the program? But never mind, I won't do that. If there are no comments or questions, move for, no, what am I saying?
He's a Dublin Kaufman kid. I'm likely to vote no just because he goes to Dublin Kaufman.
Oh, man.
My daughter goes
Brad,
to
you
Hilliard.
messed
My
up.
daughter
You
goes to
messed
Hilliard Davidson, so you know it's a big rivalry. So
Yeah,
If there are no comments or questions,
Whoa.
move for approval.
Sorry.
Move for
Technology
approval of
issues.
Resolution 396-24.
second,
Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes,
Resolution 396-24 has been adopted.
thank you.
thank you. Engineer. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, you're right.
You're gonna sit him down now. He's 1 for 1.
You're right. Today, we have a public hearing for the resolution 397-24. Can the clerk please read the public hearing?
Public hearing, resolution regarding plan approval for the improvement of Alkire Road, County Road Number 11, at Demarest Road, County Road Number 25, Jackson Township, Franklin County, Ohio.
At this time, I'd like to open up the public hearing for this resolution. Is there anyone here in the audience or online who would like to speak on this public hearing? Okay, seeing that there are none, I would like to close the public hearing and have the clerk read the resolution into the record.
Resolution 397-24, plans approved for the improvement of Alkire Road, County Road Number 11, at Demarest Road, County Road Number 25, Jackson Township, Franklin County, Ohio.
Commissioners, this resolution authorizes the plan approval for the improvement of Alkire and Demarest Road located in western Franklin County and Jackson Township. The project seeks to repair and replace failed storm sewer infrastructure at the intersection. The construction is anticipated in 2024, in the summer of 2024. Pending any questions, I ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for approval of Resolution 397-24.
Second,
Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution 397-24 has been adopted. Resolution 398-24, resolution authorizing the Franklin County engineer to modify and extend a contract with MP Dory Company for the 2023-2025 guardrail repair and upgrade program in the amount of $412,000, $350.00.
Commissioners, this resolution seeks to renew a contract with MP Dory for the 2023 through 2025 guardrail repair and upgrade program in the amount of $412,350. The board approved Resolution 0376-23, awarding MP Dory the contract for the 23-25 guardrail repair and upgrade program. The contract allows a maximum of 2 years, a maximum of 2 one-year extensions with the agreement of both the contractor and the county engineer. This will be the first renewal of the contract. Pending any questions, I ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for approval of Resolution 398-24.
Second,
Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution 398-24 has been adopted. Resolution 399-24, report first of the Franklin County engineer establishing sums of compensation for a portion of the owners of property abutting the Alton and Darby Creek Road over Clover Grove Road Improvement Project, Prairie Township, Franklin County, Ohio, in the amount of $84,619.
Commissioners, our next resolution seeks compensation for 2 property owners abutting the Alton and Darby Creek Road over Clover Grove Run Improvement Project. The project will construct a bridge replacement of the existing structure to accommodate future pedestrian improvements. The project will also widen Alton Darby Creek Road to extend a southbound left-hand turn lane and widen Feder Road to add a westbound right-hand turn lane. We have negotiated with the property owners, and compensation is based upon appraised fair market value. Pending any questions, I ask for your approval.
There are no comments or questions. Move for approval of Resolution 399-24.
Second.
Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution 399-24 has been adopted. Resolution 424, report second of the Franklin County Engineer establishing sums of compensation for a portion of the owners of property abutting the Brown Road at Dyer Road Improvement Project, Jackson Township, Franklin County, Ohio, in the amount of $22,000.
Commissioners, this resolution seeks compensation for one property owner abutting the Brown Road at Dyer Road Improvement Project. This project seeks to perform pavement improvements at the intersection. We have negotiated with the property owners, and compensation is based upon appraised fair market value. Pending any questions, I ask for your approval.
There are no comments or questions. Move for approval of Resolution 400-24.
Second.
Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution 424 has been adopted. Resolution 401-24, resolution requesting the Ohio Department of Transportation to reduce the speed limit on Alton and Darby Creek Road, County Road Number 272, Brown Township and Norwich Township, Franklin County, Ohio.
Commissioners, our next resolution seeks to authorize to request the Ohio Department of Transportation to investigate the speed limit on Alton and Darby Creek Road from Renner Road north to the Hilliard Corporation line. ODOT will review Franklin County's study and determine a safe speed limit. The study conducted by the Franklin County Engineers Office determined that a speed limit reduction from 55 to 50 will be appropriate. Pending any questions, I ask for your approval.
There are no comments or questions. Move for approval of Resolution 401-24.
Second.
Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution 401-24 has been adopted. Resolution 402-24, resolution requesting the Ohio Department of Transportation to reduce the speed limit on Groveport Road, County Road Number 7, Madison Township, Franklin County, Ohio.
Commissioners, our final resolution authorizes to request the Ohio Department of Transportation to investigate the speed limit on Groveport Road from Richardson Road east to Canal Winchester Corporation limit. ODOT will review Franklin County's study and determine a safe speed limit. The study conducted by the Engineers Office determined that a speed limit reduction from 55 to 50 will be appropriate. Pending any questions, I ask for your approval.
There are no comments or questions. Move for approval of Resolution 402-24.
Second.
Yes, that's okay. Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution 402-24 has been adopted.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next is Sheriff.
Resolution 403-24, resolution authorizing an agreement with LexisNexis Risk Solutions for Accruent Virtual Crime Center software in the amount of $38,835.
Good morning, Commissioners and County Administration. Albert Smith, Assistant Finance Director for the Sheriff's Office. Our first resolution will authorize an agreement with LexisNexis Risk Solutions for current virtual crime center software. This software will give us access to nationwide crime data to detect patterns, predict upcoming events, and deploy resources efficiently. The term of this agreement is from May 1st of this year through April 30th of next year. Pending any questions, I ask for your approval.
There are no comments or questions. Move for approval of Resolution 403-24.
Second.
Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution 403-24 has been adopted. Resolution 404-24, resolution authorizing an agreement with Vanguard Blue LLC to provide a real-time secure streaming video feed for the Franklin County Sheriff's Office Unmanned Aircraft System Unit in the amount of $7,500.
Commissioners, our last resolution will authorize an agreement with Vanguard Blue. This software will allow our office to provide a real-time, low latency, and secure streaming video feed for the Franklin County Sheriff's Office Unmanned Aircraft System Unit. The term of the agreement is from May 1st of this year through April 30th of next year. Pending any questions, I ask for your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for approval of Resolution 404-24.
Second.
Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution 404-24 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Yep, thank you. Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion?
Resolution 405-24, resolution recognizing the 2024-2025 Racial Equity Council members.
Good morning, Commissioners and County Administration. Perla Martinez, she, her pronouns, DEI Administrator for the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Commissioners, the Franklin County Board of Commissioners has demonstrated a long-standing record of promoting racial equity, inclusion, and diversity in all aspects of county government. And with this, through the Rise Together Poverty Blueprint, it includes the express charge to review personnel policies and organizational structures and identify where there is bias and inequity within our organization, and work with county leadership to continue to address inequities within our agencies. The Franklin County Racial Equity Council is a direct response to this charge. The members of the council are responsible for proactively applying a racial equity and inclusion lens to how Franklin County government approaches recruiting, learning and development, programming, and service delivery. This year, the Franklin County Racial Equity Council is composed of employees representing 12 county agencies within the Board of Commissioners' purview, which will continue evolving year after year. And as the council's work mandates together through the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and working in collaboration with agency leadership, the Board of Commissioners, County Administration, our consultant Raising the Bar Performance Group, the Racial Equity Council will continue to meet the challenges that disadvantaged and marginalized communities experience. During this 2024-2025 term, the Racial Equity Council will work on the development and establishment of strategies to communicate our diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts back to their respective agencies and across Franklin County, provide relevant DEI data from the agencies to ours, which will provide useful insight into our organization's progress and help pinpoint areas that need additional focus, and help in the development of a new, shorter cultural climate audit to help us determine the advancements that we have made since our last climate audit in 2021, and where we still need to do more work. The Board of Commissioners recognizes, we recognize the following members of the 2024-2025 Franklin County Racial Equity Council: Dion Anderson, Child Support Enforcement Agency; Chap Jacob Warley, Job and Family Services; Chelsea Barnett, Board of Commissioners; Deborah Brackney Warner, Child Support Enforcement Agency; Christian Brooks, Public Facilities Management; Roxanne Bird, Child Support Enforcement Agency; Valerie Carey, Job and Family Services; Leandra Coles, Office on Aging; Bianca Davis, Purchasing Department; Aaron Dillon, Child Support Enforcement Agency; Joy Hartwell Lynn, Office on Aging; Melinda Irwin, Job and Family Services; Sanita Johnson, Human Resources; Contark Powa Davis, Child Support Enforcement Agency; Marcy Littlejohn, Job and Family Services; Darlene Lucknow, Department of Human Resources; Brianna Lowe, Job and Family Services; Carrie Melton, Sanitary Engineering; Catherine Middendorf, Animal Care and Control; Isabella Minario, Public Affairs; Dayla Murphy, Board of Commissioners; Vernon Murphy, Job and Family Services; Tracy McConnell, Job and Family Services; Veronica Rhodes, Job and Family Services; Annie Risner, Board of Commissioners; Paul Sauls, Child Support Enforcement Agency; Shanna Sanders, Justice Policy and Programs; Julia Shin, Office on Aging; Kennedy Smith, Justice Policy and Programs; and Brittany Strickland Hilliard, Office on Management and Budget; and Jasmine Wooten, Job and Family Services. If there are no comments or questions, I respectfully request your approval of this resolution.
Second.
Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution 405-24 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you, Economic Development and Planning.
Resolution 406-24, resolution authorizing an agreement with Greater Columbus Sister Cities International for services that foster economic opportunity and cultural partnerships between Franklin County and international communities in the amount of $125,000.
Good morning, Commissioners, Administration. Emmanuel Torres, Director of Assistant Director of Economic Development and Planning. And this resolution is to authorize the 2024 Annual Partner Contract Agreement with Greater Columbus Sister Cities International to continue promoting international trade and investment with Franklin County and in the Columbus region. With us, we have Ms. Staley. Good morning. Good morning. Glad to see you. And if you have any questions after their presentation, we will happily request your approval for this resolution.
Good morning, Commissioners, and thank you so much for allowing us to do the work of sharing what the county does around the world with our partners. Last year, we were in 6 of our 10 sister cities on the ground talking about everything from transportation to economic development to food security. But one of my proudest programs is the work that we're doing with young leaders here in Franklin County. And so I want to ask Devin Brown and Chris Sewell, 2 of our Circle 2 fellows, to share a little bit about their experience as part of our leadership program.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. My name is Devin Brown. I'm excited to share a little bit about my experience as a Circle 2 fellow. Whether it was going through weekend trainings where we didn't know the agenda, or going on a week-long delegation to Spain where we also didn't know the agenda, the experience really taught me adaptive leadership and how to trust the process, as Ms. Jamie would like to eloquently put it. So with that being said, it also helped me it taught me a lot about myself and how to work with my fellows, 2 of which are here, Chris and Kevin. It taught me how to really rely on my team and how to support each other through obstacles and just different experiences, both professionally and personally. As you all probably know, Columbus is continuing to grow into a global city, and this experience really helped me to connect with what felt like a city within our city. Being able to go to one of our sister cities also taught me more about the experience that many of our residents face every day, just trying to navigate. I was a foreigner in a land where I didn't speak the language, and just trying to put together meetings or, just simply find something to eat was a challenge every day. So it really helped me to appreciate that. It helped me to be a more competent and effective leader, and I believe that it's also translating into my new role as Whitehall's newest city council member. I'm very excited to begin my public service journey. And I would also just like to add one more thing. I hope I'm not embarrassing myself or Jamie in the program, but I know that the program worked really hard to raise funds to make this experience possible for people like me, and I know what the experience did for me and what it could do for others who are allowed this opportunity. So, thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, Administrators. I think that's a good thing about being in circles, that we get to finish each other's thoughts. Well, Devin kind of stole everything that I wanted to say. It's a testament to Jamie and the hard work that she put in. But one, I'm truly grateful to be able to be in Circle 2 cohort. I think we are the best cohort to come through, but I'm sure one to say the same thing. And so when you think about the experiences and how this county is growing, we're on pace to reach about 1 million people within Central Ohio and Franklin County, or even more. And so when you think about how this program continues to build the next generation of leaders, this program is building a foundation so that we, as the city grows, are positioning ourselves to help transition those next demographic of people that continue to grow in the city. We spoke earlier about the Asian Festival and the amount of festivals that are coming to Columbus that are already here. We are positioning ourselves in partnership with our circle cities to be able to help them usher into what we think will be one of the best Midwest cities in the United States. And so I'm thankful for Jamie's leadership, along with Samin, who isn't here or no longer here. And now we have Kelly, who has taken on and championed this circle program. And so I'm thankful for your support and your continued support as we continue to build a foundation of leaders to lead Franklin County past just now.
I'll just say, I've yet to go on a Sister Cities trip. That's another story. But I know the value of learning and understanding various cultures. In particular, it's one thing to sort of understand a culture that is also part of this culture. But there are also often economic opportunities that evolve from what can be a seed to a relationship to a full harvest of that relationship. And so, Ms. Staley, thank you so much for your work with Sister Cities, and looking forward to, at some point, experiencing that non-agenda that exists out there.
There will always be an agenda for you.
Yeah, okay. And so thanks so much for looking forward to your work again. Yeah, please, Commissioner Crawley.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jamie, for your leadership. And to the fellows, thank you for sharing your experience with your cohort. I had the opportunity last year to go to Brazil, to Curitiba, which is our sister city. And I miss that weather, I really do. But it was really good to see, we were there for their bus rapid transit system that they've had for decades. We got to see how housing is developed by the main arteries, where the transit system is. We also got into like public health, because they have like a universal health care system, and how it contributes to decreasing the infant mortality rate and maternal mortality rate. And then we got to fellowship, and we got to see some really cool things that are native to South America. Curitiba is like one of the greenest cities, I think, in South America. Beautiful, but what they do to protect their greenlands is pretty amazing. And so very educational, very much an educational trip. And I think about that as we have the conversations about Link Us and what does that look like as the city of Columbus is changing their zoning code for hopefully more density. And you can see how that correlates when you go to a country or to a state in the country that has already been doing this for a while. And then they also got to share with us what worked and then what didn't work. And that's necessary for us to bring back as we look to have a BRT system. And so really great experience. Looking forward to another opportunity to travel to a sister city, really interested in fashion and art. When we went to Curitiba, we took some art with us, the Art and Activism book that Greater Columbus Arts Council, GCAC, put together, where I know Yogi Terrell helped with that, and they were very, very much inspired by the artists and the artwork that Affairs put together that we sent over there. And so, and then we got to bring some of their books back with art in it as well. So it's really an opportunity to exchange ideas, learn from each other, but then also bring back best practices and implement them right here in Franklin County.
Well, I've been here a little bit longer, but I've done all the trips that you haven't done, Commissioner. So initially I did the arts and cultural and economic development trip to our sister city in Ahmedabad, India. It's been a bit. It's been 13 years since I did that trip. But we did that trip, and we did 42 business meetings in 13 days. So there's always an agenda. We did that trip with Columbus, or at the time, what was the predecessor? Columbus 2020, before One Columbus. And then we did, we also got to do our sister city in Sevilla in Spain in 2018, and we did mobility and transportation, along with, we did a food tour with CFAS from Ohio State University, along with the folks from Smart Columbus. We did the mobility section of that trip as well. And then last year, we did a pre-trip to what will be a trip to our sister city in Odense, Denmark, later this year. Jamie and Kevin Pangrace and I went to Denmark last March, and we did not have the wonderful weather that you had, although the sun had just come back to Denmark in early March of last year. So it was very, very cold, but it was very sunny. So we did not have that great weather that you had, but that's okay. It was still a beautiful trip. But I think the weather will be much better in September when we go this year. We're building the delegation now. We've been working very closely with Jamie and Kelly and the team, Annie Risnar from my staff, to put together a delegation now to do this trip in September. And we're going to do yeah, Chris is ready to go. But we are putting together a trip on robotics and, again, the food industry as well, because Denmark has more. They have a huge focus on the food industry, sustainability, but as well as they have more Michelin star restaurants in the small country of Denmark than in all of Europe. So But it's based on their sustainability and the work that they do in the area of food science. And so we will focus on that. That'll be a smaller part of the trip, but robotics is the focus. And so we are working to put that together now. But the point being that Columbus, as was said earlier, Columbus is I think that Devin said it, that Columbus is a growing cultural international community, and there's an expectation that we are and continue to be a growing cultural community. We speak well over 100 languages in Franklin County, and this community, there's where when I first became a commissioner, much less so, but now, and Kevin and I Commissioner Boyce and I continue.
That's President Boyce.
I'm sorry, excuse me, President, President Boyce and I always talk about the Columbus that we grew up in versus the Columbus of today, the Franklin County that we grew up in versus the Franklin County of today, and how it is a much more international, much more multicultural community than it was of our youth. And
Not even close.
And so there's a much bigger expectation today that we do business on the international stage. And so we work closely with Columbus Sister Cities. We work very closely with One Columbus on an international basis. And so we will continue to do this. So thank you.
Commissioner O'Grady, what's Michelin star mean? What is that?
Michelin star restaurants are it's the top level. It's the highest ranked, And
Like in the world?
Well, no, they're Michelin is it's a ranking for restaurants that are just really, But that being said, Denmark's, when we were there last year, we did and Jamie could probably explain it better than me, but we did, what was the name of the organization that we went to that talked about sustainability?
So we met with a number of food security organizations, but also organizations that worked with both the industry and the nonprofit end on making sure folks have access to produce and food, but also making sure that the folks that were producing that food were mindful of pesticides, were paying attention to nutritional impact of chemicals on the food that was being served. And so they have a really large consortium of food producers and food security experts that come together to really lean into that space to make sure that what is being exported from Denmark from a food perspective is safe for all the residents.
Very similar to a lot of the work that we do here in Franklin County.
Indeed.
Okay. Well, it should be noted that I've not been on any of these. I'll just say that one more time. But it's totally not their fault. It's completely my fault. And so, but I do know the value of the investment, and I do understand what it means in the broader scope. I mean, just Commissioner O'Grady's description of all the different elements of the experiences. They actually matter in one way or another in how we think, how we operate, and the decisions we make even. And so at some point, I will get my schedule to align.
I promise.
Right. With that.
Yes.
There's huge value not only in the relationships that we create, because, friends do business with friends. We've always said that. That's always been a mantra. But it's the relationships that we create, but it's also, the connections that we have across the globe, and we have to, we always have to be cognizant of the businesses. It's the same reason that we work with Columbus, One Columbus, to do the same type of business with our friends in Japan. When we do those trips, there is international connection, and it matters, and it there's relationships that are created, and it's the businesses that we do business with both here in Franklin County and internationally.
Indeed. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, if there are no comments or questions, move for approval of Resolution 406-24.
Second.
Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution 406-24 has been adopted. Resolution 407-24, review of petition to annex 0.272 acres from Blendon Township to the City of Columbus, case annex 08-24.
Commissioners, this next resolution seeks your approval for an expedited Type 1 annexation petition of approximately .272 acres from Blendon Township to the City of Columbus. The area to be annexed includes parcel number 110-002840, which is located at 2700 Minerva Avenue. The petition meets all statutory requirements outlined in Section 709.021 of the Ohio Revised Code. And pending any questions, I respectfully request your approval of this resolution.
There are no comments or questions. Move for approval of Resolution 40724.
Second.
Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution 40724 has been adopted.
Thank you very much.
Next is purchasing.
Resolution 40824, resolution approving purchases for various Franklin County agencies in the amount of $1,859,099.38.
Good morning, Commissioners. Megan Perry Balanier, Director of Purchasing, and joining me is D'Amica Withers, Chief Economic Equity and Inclusion Officer for the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. This resolution, Commissioners request your approval of 49 purchase orders for which the County Auditor has pre-certified available funding. And I'll turn it over to D'Amica to share the supplier diversity data.
Good morning, Commissioners. First, I want to take a point of privilege, if I can, to thank you for approving the Racial Equity Council fourth cohort, which is our fourth and largest cohort, many of whom are in the room today, which was why of the claps at the end and online. So I just wanted to recognize that they were here. 14 of the purchase orders being presented are being awarded to small and emerging businesses totaling $782,102.69. Awarded to 12% to small and emerging businesses, 6% to minority-owned businesses, and 10% to women-owned businesses. Once approved, 7 agencies have provided equitable, inclusive opportunities to small businesses this week: Public Facilities Management, Child Support Enforcement Agency, Job and Family Services, Court of Common Pleas, Court of Appeals, Franklin County Board of Developmental Disabilities, Sanitary Engineering. I would also like to introduce our new equity data analyst who started with us yesterday. I'm going to get it right. Abdi Basit Ali. So he is joining us and will be helping us to identify the impact and quantifying our data as it relates to the work that we are doing in the DEI space.
Sandy, welcome aboard.
If there are no comments or questions, we respectfully request your approval of this resolution. There are no comments or questions. Move for approval of Resolution 40824.
Second.
Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution 40824 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Resolution 40924, resolution approving purchases for various Franklin County agencies in the amount of $3,000.
Commissioners, this resolution requests your approval of 2 purchase orders. The County Auditor has pre-certified available funding for both, and pending any questions, I would request your approval of this resolution.
If there are no comments or questions, move for approval of Resolution 40924.
Second.
Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Abstain.
This resolution has been adopted with Commissioner Boyce's noted abstention.
Thank you.
Thank you. Board of Commissioners.
Resolution 41024, resolution authorizing a COVID-19 recovery grant agreement with the Educational Service Center for Central Ohio in support of the Franklin County Digital Equity Coalition.
Good morning, Commissioners. Juan Torres, Chief Information Officer, presenting on behalf of the Board of Commissioners. This resolution authorizes a COVID-19 recovery grant agreement with the Educational Service Center of Central Ohio in support of the Franklin County Digital Equity Coalition. The Franklin County Digital Equity Coalition was formed in response to the pandemic in March of 2020 and includes over 40 organizations representing government, education, healthcare, social services, the private sector, and anchor institutions. In November of 2022, the DEC published the Digital Equity Action Plan agenda outlining key strategies to close the digital divide in Central Ohio and achieve digital equity for all. Smart Columbus has been the central coordinator of coalition since early 2022, funding and facilitating pilot programs, convening community leaders and residents, and establishing an operating structure to deploy the full scope of the action plan on behalf of the DEC. Today, we have Jordan Davis, Executive Director of Smart Columbus, to further discuss the program.
Thank you, Juan. Thank you, commissioners, for having me. Today in Franklin County, over 80,000 households are without home internet. Over 100,000 households do not have a device larger than a smartphone in their home. This investment, along with the complementary investment from the City of Columbus, goes to standing up a long-term sustainable ecosystem that works to close the digital divide for today and also for tomorrow. You'll see in the agreement a more detailed summary of the program investment and its outcomes by the end of 2026, all aligned with the Digital Equity Action Agenda. But it includes 10,000 residents completing 10 hours of basic skills training, 10,000 residents receiving a new device, 75 ongoing device donation partnerships resulting in an annual commitment of at least 2,500 technology devices going to nonprofits and residents on an annual basis, 1,500 frontline workers trained to support residents with digital needs, and additional efforts to build a digital and human support model that is sustainable for addressing this issue long into the future. For the first 6 months release of funding, you will see through this investment the launch of what's called the Digital Skills Hub. This will be a national model for collaborative basic skills training aimed at providing at least 10 hours of in-person skills training for 10,000 under-resourced residents and providing them a new device upon completion by 2026. By January of 2025, we will onboard at least 6 implementing partner organizations, training their facilitators, supporting communications, and procuring devices for their participants. For the initial launch, we will anticipate at least 300 residents completing a course and using that model to scale significantly in the subsequent years. Between now and the beginning of next year, we'll match 1,500 devices donated from employers to nonprofit organizations. We'll increase ongoing device access with low to no cost devices from 1 community location today to 3. We'll establish Program Management Office for central coordination, data tracking, and implementation, launching an online portal for digital navigators, caseworkers, and residents to use for enrollment in digital skills courses and information about affordable connectivity options. And we'll pilot and continue the co-design work through the Digital Equity Coalition for additional skills training programs, frontline staff training, resident outreach programming, and tech support, as all outlined in the Franklin County Digital Equity Action Agenda. This work discussed today is laid out in what we released in 2022, but my role here today is to be a representative of the collective body of work. This work is not done by Smart Columbus. We are not a direct service organization. We are a facilitator of about 30 plus nonprofit implementing organizations, of which will be the boots on the ground deploying this work. I want to thank you as well as Adam Frumpkin and all of those from the county who've been involved in this work thus far. At this point, I'll take any questions.
Second.
Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution 41024 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Resolution 41124, resolution authorizing a transfer of funds for the payment of debt services.
Good morning, Commissioners. Zach Telerik with the Office of Management and Budget. This resolution would transfer approximately $13.5 million from the general fund for the county's June 1st debt service payment. The resolution also authorizes the payment of the June 1st debt service payment, which is just under $24.4 million. Pending any questions, would ask for your approval of this resolution.
Second.
Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution 41124 has been adopted. Resolution 41224, resolution authorizing amendments to the agreement for consulting services with Plant Moran.
Commissioners, the board previously approved Resolution 64-24 earlier this year, authorizing the approval of temporary fiscal staffing as well as consulting services with various accounting firms. As following that resolution, a contract was entered into with Plant Moran for consulting services as requested by the county prosecutor's office or county administration on an as-needed basis. Based on that agreement, additional amendments are needed to move forward, and this resolution would authorize the county administrator to enter into any future agreements, contract amendments with Plant Moran. Pending any questions, would ask your approval of this resolution.
There are no comments or questions. Move for approval of Resolution
Second.
Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley, Commissioner Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Abstain.
Resolution 41224 has been adopted with Commissioner Boyce's noted abstention. Resolution 41324, authorizing the clerk to submit the referendum petitions to the Board of Elections, Franklin County, for the November 2024 general election.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jesse Armstrong, Assistant Prosecuting Attorney. This resolution pertains to a rezoning of the property located at 7124 Davis Road in Brown Township. The board approved that rezoning with conditions on March 12th, 2024. Subsequently, on April 9th, 2024, the board received a petition to place that rezoning matter on the ballot. If you recall, the board previously passed Resolution 39924, directing the clerk to submit the the petitions to the Board of Elections to verify the statutory requirements were met. The Board of Elections did review the petitions and confirmed that the statutory requirements are met. Thus, this is the second resolution directing the clerk to submit the referendum petitions to the Board of Elections and request that it be placed on the ballot, actually at a special election to be held on the date of the November 2024 general election. Prior to voting and approving this resolution, we do have two minor amendments to the resolution that was initially published.
Commissioners, if I may, Deputy County Administrator Chris Long, Jesse Armstrong with the Prosecutor's Office, could you describe what those amendments would be? And then with your consideration, we would move to amend.
Sure, thank you. The additional language we recommend being added is to specify first in the title of the resolution that the petitions be submitted for a special election to be held on the date of the November 24 general election and not on the actual general election. And similarly, in paragraph 1 of the resolution, to add language to specify that the petitions, we request they be put on a special election to be held on the date of the November 2024 general election.
Yes, if there are any questions. If there are no questions, is there a motion to amend as described?
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting, Commissioner Crawley, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution 41324 has been amended. Is there a motion to approve amended Resolution 41324?
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting, Commissioner Crawley, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Amended Resolution 41324 has been adopted. Thank you.
Resolution 41424, resolution agreeing to amend the complaint filed on behalf of Franklin County in the opioid litigation to add pharmacy benefit managers and their relevant subsidiaries as defendants and authorizing the county administrator to execute additional documents required that are not inconsistent with this resolution.
Thank you, Commissioners. Jesse Armstrong, Assistant Prosecuting Attorney. As you know, Franklin County has been one of the many Ohio political subdivisions participating in the opioid litigation against certain pharmaceutical companies. Through the course of that litigation, additional information has come out which has led the attorneys handling that litigation on behalf of all the public entities to seek to amend its complaint to actually name as additional defendants certain pharmacy benefit managers and their relevant subsidiaries. Thus, prior to that occurring, they have reached out to all the political subdivisions and asked for their agreement to moving forward with the amended complaint against these additional defendants. The court would need to grant permission prior to that amendment to allowing the amended complaint. The council, as I understand it, has made their initial motion, but the court is still weighing whether or not to permit that to occur. Approval of this resolution would allow us to essentially opt in with the other political jurisdictions in the event that the court does allow the amended complaint, that we would be among the group that would pursue the claims against the pharmacy benefit managers. Pending any questions, would respectfully request your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, move for approval of Resolution 41424.
Second.
Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution 41424 has been adopted. Resolution 41524, resolution appointing Chris J. Long to the Columbus Sister Cities International Board of Trustees, Franklin County, Ohio.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kenneth Wilson, County Administrator. This resolution is recommending that Chris J. Long be added to the Board of Trustees for Columbus Sister Cities International. Further, this resolution formally instructs Deputy County Administrator Chris Long to represent Franklin County in its interests. And also, this appointment has been verified and reviewed by the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office as no other conflicts or instructions are needed to appoint Deputy County Administrator Chris Long to serve in this role.
Second.
Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
No, I mean, yes. Sorry. Yes.
Resolution
Yes, yes,
41524 has been adopted. Resolution 41624, resolution reappointing Joy Bivens to the Community Shelter Board of Trustees.
Good morning, Commissioners. Chris Long, Deputy County Administrator, would recommend approval of the reappointment of Deputy County Administrator Joy Bivens to the Community Shelter Board.
If there are no comments or questions, move for approval of Resolution 41624.
Second.
Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution 41624 has been adopted. Resolution 41724, resolution appointing Cynthia Latney to the Franklin County Alcohol, Drug, and Mental Health Services Board.
Commissioners, pending any questions, would recommend the appointment of Cynthia Latney to the Alcohol, Drug, and Mental Health Services Board.
If there are no comments or questions, move for approval of Resolution 41724.
Second.
Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution 41724 has been adopted. Resolution 41824, resolution reappointing Jamie Staley to the Greater Columbus Arts Council, GCAC, Board of Trustees.
Commissioners would recommend the reappointment of Jamie Staley to the GCAC Greater Columbus Arts Council Board of Trustees.
If there are no comments or questions, move for approval of Resolution 41824.
Second.
Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution 41824 has been adopted. Resolution 41924, resolution reappointing Leah Goldsmith to the Greater Columbus Arts Council, GCAC, Board of Trustees.
Commissioners would recommend the reappointment of Leah Goldsmith to the Greater Columbus Arts Council.
If there are no comments or questions, move for approval of Resolution 41924.
Second.
Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution 41924 has been adopted. Resolution 42024, resolution reappointing Jim P. Negron to the Columbus Arts Council, GCAC, Board of Trustees.
Commissioners would recommend the reappointment of Jim Negron to the Greater Columbus Arts Council.
If there are no comments or questions, move for approval of Resolution 42024.
Second.
Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution 42024 has been adopted. Resolution 42124, resolution reappointing Joy Bivens and appointing Rochelle Pride to the Workforce Development Board pursuant to the requirements of the Workforce Investment and Opportunity Act of 2015.
Commissioners would recommend the reappointment of Deputy County Administrator Joy Bivens and Director Rochelle Pride to the Workforce Development Board.
If there are no comments or questions, move for approval of Resolution 42124.
Second.
Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley, Commissioner O'Grady,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution 42124 has been adopted. Resolution 42224, resolution appointing and reappointing various members to the Workforce Development Board pursuant to the requirements of the Workforce Investment and Opportunity Act of 2015.
Commissioners would recommend the reappointment of Sumitra Jagannath, Matt Habash, Archie Williamson, Rocky Parker, Brian Morris, and Nicole Needler, and the appointment of Anthony Caldwell to the Workforce Development Board.
If there are no comments or questions, move for approval of Resolution 42224.
Second.
Moved and seconded in voting, Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution 422-24 has been adopted.
Oh, okay, that's it, all right. I was waiting to get through all of those. Could have just did them as a group, but okay. That concludes, are there any generalizations?
There is one. Case Annex 09-24, an expedited Type 1 annexation petition, Annex 09-24, was filed with the Franklin County Economic Development and Planning Department on May 7, 2024. The petition is requesting to annex 4.4 acres from Plain Township to the City of Columbus. The petition will be considered by the Board of Commissioners on May 21st, 2024.
All right, if there are no further comments or questions, that concludes our meeting. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.